Allez, Lievin qui court avec un colon rotulien sectionné par erreur lors d'une opération chirurgicale suite à un accident de l'eau. Elle a un palmarès long comme le bras. Eric en parlait tout à l'heure. Champion du monde à Triathlon 2022, de longue distance en 2023, du cross marathon en 2023, et puis là elle est en tête. Et là du côté de Lievin, on est parti avec le lead.
Allez, Antoine et Michael. Les couleurs de Lievin qui brillent donc avec Colline, avec Zoé également.
Il faut savoir que notre ami qui pointe au lead est non-voyant à 100% depuis sa naissance. Imaginez la confiance qu'il doit avoir avec Michael, son guide, qui lui guide.
All right, so we're going to be back with you at 8:30 local time here in Lievin for the men's B final, the women's B final, then the business end of the competition, the A final. So we look forward to that. Hope you can join us then.
Et il est là, Michael et Antoine qui vont servir également sous vos applaudissements, s'il vous plaît. Allez, Antoine, allez, qui est guidé par Michael pour les derniers mètres.
Derrière Zoé, donc voici effectivement qui arrive notre athlète non-voyant et donc c'est le jeune belge. PTO on découvre aujourd'hui ici à Lievin. Allez, on continue à encourager Colline qui est là sur la piste. Autre athlète licencié ici, au TC Lievin.
Moi, je vous invite à vous lever, s'il vous plaît. Tout le monde debout pour son dernier virage. Allez, tout le monde debout, 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 debout. Allez, encore un maximum de bruit, s'il vous plaît. C'est ça, ceux qui savent crier, tapez les mains. Maximum de bruit, elle arrive. Elle avance sur la gauche. Et elle est là. Et là, on fait les derniers mètres, allez, 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 allez. Super, bravo.
Et comme ici, il n'y a pas de temps mort, surtout pour cette superbe soirée. À l'occasion de la 4e édition de ce Triathlon Indoor à Lievin. Dans quelques instants, on va vous présenter donc nos jeunes âgés de 10 à 13 ans qui vont à leur tour dans cette grande soirée, eux aussi être mis à l'honneur.
Oui, pardon.
Allez, c'est parti pour la présentation de ces jeunes. Donc, il y aura 100 mètres de natation, 500 mètres à pied. Le départ sera donné dans l'eau. Et on appelle celui qui aura le dossard 380, Augustin Duchesse Pardot. Le 375, Thibaut Ferreira. 370, Loen Demey. Le 316, Noah Rommel. Le 322, Samuel Artel. Le 320, Paolo Louchard. Numéro 350, Elliot Lipro. Le 314, Victor Legousse. Avec le 352, Lucas Monvoisin. Numéro 312, Alexandre Devienne. Le 391, Diego Pierron. Et le numéro 340, Olivier Herman. Je vous rappelle au menu pour ces jeunes, donc 100 mètres de natation, départ dans l'eau, puis 500 mètres de course à pied. C'est donc, bel et bien, de l'aquathlon.
Allez, ces jeunes sont bel et bien partis, mesdames et messieurs. Allez, on a Augustin Duchesse Pardot, Thibaut Ferreira, Loen Demey, Noam Rommel, Samuel Artel, Paolo Louchard, Elliot Lipro, Victor Legousse, Lucas Monvoisin, Alexandre Devienne, Diego Pierron et Olivier Herman.
Allez, on peut donner le meilleur d'eux-mêmes là, regardez. Et déjà, la fin de l'effort pour les meilleurs d'entre eux. Allez, tous les supporters là dans tous les clubs présents ici, qui s'enflamment, je crois que c'est Lucas Monvoisin qui va se présenter en tête.
Allez, mesdames et messieurs, on fait du bruit pour les enfants passer sous nos yeux avec une distance pédestre de 500 mètres. 500 mètres pour les enfants.
Ah, mais ça a bougé déjà. Ça a bougé à la transition. Les premières places à l'issue de la natation sont remises en cause. Un petit phénomène du club d'April qu'on avait déjà vu à son aise un peu plus tôt dans la journée, qui a fait de belles transitions et qui du coup est parti avec son dossard 375. C'est-à-dire Thibaut Ferreira. Il est toujours devant, gros derrière. On a un garçon là qui revient quand même assez fort avec les couleurs triathlon. Lucas, qui était le meilleur à la sortie de l'eau, qui est désormais 3e. Oh, ça va changer en tête. Ça va changer, regardez ça, ça passe. Augustin, le grand Augustin Véchès, pardon, qui va donc dévoiler ici en tête, voilà, les flammes pour l'accueillir, Augustin, bravo. Thibaut qui va donc terminer en 2e. Oui, derrière, attention, les places sont chères.
I'm a savage. Drop the classic. Thinking back. To establish. Let the magic. Saw the magic. Got a magic. Who was that? Living legend. Lethal weapon. Mastermind. Never tried. I give me a second. It's after no one. Just give me a second to let them know. I'm the headline. The deadline. Big time. I'm a head time. The red kind. Big time. I'm a living legend. Lethal weapon. Mastermind. Big time.
Hello and welcome to Lievin, just outside of Lens in the north of France for the T1 Indoor World Cup. Just under 8 months since we watched history being made along the shores of the Seine in Paris, we find ourselves 200 kilometers north in Lievin and the Arena Stade Couvert. In front of a sold-out crowd, it's about to get very loud as some of the best triathletes in the world battle it out over this fast and furious course. A Saturday night under the lights in Lievin, this is triathlon, but not quite as you know it. And the hottest ticket in town boasts one-star attraction. Make no mistake, this French crowd are here to welcome home their history-making hero. She's the world-beating, reigning Olympic and world triathlon champion, Cassandre Beaugrand. And if the earlier heats are anything to go by, this crowd are going to go absolutely wild for Beaugrand. So before we get underway here though, I mentioned this is a form of triathlon like no other. So ahead of the finals, here's a rundown of what to expect from this super fast format. So here's what we've got to look forward to this evening. We've got the men's B final taking place shortly. That will be followed by the women's B final. Those races will decide places 13 to 24 in the standings. Then it's the business end of the competition, the men's final followed by the women's final. And as we see the start list for the first B final, it's time to welcome along the 2018 World Triathlon Champion and Olympic and Commonwealth Games medalist, Vicky Holland. Vicky, what a day we've had here in Lievin.
It's incredible that we're still going, really, isn't it? We've been here since about midday. There's been racing going on all morning, even before we got here, with age group races, children's races. We've had all the heats, we've had all the semi-finals, and now we're down to the business end. We're just left with the 2 finals for each male and female, A finals and the B finals.
Exactly that. So the best 24 athletes from each gender are about to take to the stage over the next couple of hours. The fans here in the crowd very much looking forward to seeing a number of faces, including this guy, Yanis Sergan. He's the highest ranked male French athlete here in Lievin, and expecting good things from him, Vicky.
They are. I mean, I think he and they will probably be a little bit disappointed that he wasn't quite able to put together the performance that they would have hoped for, he would have hoped for, to be in the A final. I think it's a little bit of a surprise to us that he's not in that A final, but he'll certainly be having his sights set on trying to right those wrongs and bring home the title from the B final today.
They certainly will. So a couple of the Austrian athletes who had some brilliant sprint finishes today. We've seen some excellent racing here in Lievin.
We have Abdelmuller just coming out, one of our best runners. He didn't run as well as we'd hoped in that semi-final and finds himself here in the B final. Should also mention Nicola Ozzano. He's the second highest ranked athlete who didn't make it into the A final and stands in the B final here tonight. He's the Italian athlete. He's another athlete. He's known as being really good at this short distance stuff. He was part of the Italian mixed team relay that recently came third at the Abu Dhabi World Series. So this is a sort of distance that suits him, so I'm sure he'll be keen to improve upon his previous performances today.
Isoton and Tarot of France receiving a very warm welcome from their home fans. And so the last couple of athletes take their spots just by the pool. And we're now in the hands of the starter.
Athletes, you're now in the hands of the starter.
So away we go then on the men's B final. It's a 200-metre swim, 8 lengths of this 25-metre pool. Vicky, what are you looking out for at this point in the race?
Well, it's interesting because all the real top swimmers aren't in this race. The ones that we have seen put the biggest, the best swims down so far today in the heats, the semi-finals, aren't in this final. So the best times we've seen so far are around 1:58 coming out of the water. So something around that would show really strong performance, and I'm sure there's one or two athletes looking to really put their stall out and say, hey, I might be in the B final, but I'm here to win it. And I think that might be Pangeur there in the Dutch suit and the red cap just turning. Got the camera on him now. And he will be an athlete looking to improve upon his semi-final position. We've also got the French athlete nearest to screen here. I'm sure he'll be absorbing some of the home crowd support if he was to get out of the water first.
He had a really good swim, didn't he, in his semi-final? Just didn't quite have enough when they got to the track through the bike and through the run legs. But
that's right, yeah. We're looking at Pablo Isoton there, and he did have one of the best swims in the semi-final, so I slightly overlooked him, which was a bit harsh of me. He is an incredible swimmer, and he will be looking, I'm sure, to do that again and get himself out onto the bike leg first.
I'm sure he'll find you afterwards to have some stern words about the quality of his swimming here in Lievin. But he has currently got the edge on the other athletes. They've got another 50 metres to go or less as they make their way halfway through this 25-metre length.
So it's an interesting spearhead we've got here. It's almost just a complete one diagonal line. We don't really see that. We haven't seen that in any of the other races today, and it's obviously just complete chance it's worked out like that. So it's coming down the final length now, and as I said, a lot of the swims today have been just dipping under the 2-minute marker for the men, but this is going to be just a shade over there. So 2:02, I got it on my clocking that they just hit the board.
So Isoton leads then from the swim. Just behind him is Nabel of Austria and Windischbauer also of Austria. Ozzano in fourth.
That's right, not a huge amount of separation in this semi-final so far. Yanis Seguin is coming in about 5th place there, and even back to that final athlete in 12th has got to only be about 5-6 seconds in it. So this is looking like it's going to head out onto the bike as one large pack.
So that's exactly where they're heading, onto this bike track. It's 2.8 kilometres on the bike and 14 laps.
So we should mention there, we just caught a glimpse of 2 of the Austrian athletes are wearing trainers at this point in the race. We only saw one of those Austrian athletes doing it early, that was Winschbauer. There's now another Austrian athlete, teammates obviously picking up tips from one another. But it is interesting because it means it would have taken them a little bit longer in that transition zone to get those trainers on. The other athletes didn't have to do that. But when they come to T2, if this is one big pack, they've got a massive advantage. And we actually saw in the semi-final, Winschbauer give a really good account of himself, and he was really close to getting one of those overall final places.
In a race that's going to take approximately 10 minutes, every single second counts.
Yeah, absolutely. The transitions in this type of racing are more crucial than any other type of racing that we see. Less than 10 minutes per race, the transitions really do account for something. We saw it in last year's racing. The fastest run times weren't done by the winners. They were done by people who finished on the podium but a bit further back because they didn't have great transitions. So it's really, really crucial. You need to jostle for position. You want to be right at the front. You need to be smooth through the transition, do the process correctly, try not to incur a penalty, and get yourself out onto that run track as fast as you can. Yanis Seguin taken to the front of the bike. We saw him do this quite a bit in the semi-final, obviously not afraid to put a little bit of power down and show himself at the front of the race. But he's stretching out this field. I mean, they're still one pack, but they are pretty strung out. There's a little bit of separation there between these sort of 7th and 8th athletes, but it's not enough to make a break, but he's just making sure he's keeping the other athletes honest.
And right now, as they go through in essentially one straight line, they'll be wanting to conserve as much energy as they can. It looks like there's not going to be a breakaway, like you said, and that will hopefully mean they're able to conserve a bit of energy for the run, which is just about to come.
Yeah, I think we could be in for a pretty fast 1 kilometre here with none of the athletes kind of being in a breakaway or having to chase back down gaps. I really think we're going to come to the run and see some pretty blistering times. For reference, we'll be looking at probably considerably under 3 minutes for the men's kilometre. Usually we've seen here in Lievin something around the 2:45 marker.
Well, last year, Casper Stornes did a 2:39.
There we go. And again, he was the perfect example of someone who put down the fastest run, but he actually finished 3rd on the day. The same in the women. I think the fastest women's run was done by Gwen Jorgensen, and equally she was 3rd on the day. So it just shows the importance of these transitions.
The Hungarian athlete, Kovacs, has just got himself in the mix as well. Good performance from him. He's ranked 362 in the world, fighting with some of the best athletes in the sport.
It's just incredible, the spread of athletes we have here, and it's amazing. Some of these athletes really are taking part in their first ever World Cup here today. Some of these athletes are super seasoned athletes. They don't just race this level. They race our very top tier of racing, which is the World Series. They've been to Olympic Games. They've come away with medals from these major championships. And then you've got athletes who are just beginning in their triathlon journey, and it is amazing to see them all here together.
Yeah, another one to keep your eye on is Abdel Muller as well, who's made his way up to 3rd as things stand. He's a phenomenal runner, isn't he? And we actually saw him having his lunch, and it was, if ever there was a plate of an athlete, it was pasta, 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 and a bit of couscous.
It really was. It was a mountain of pasta, and what he's done really well here is positioned himself much higher up in the pack than we saw him do in either of the rounds he's already raced today. He had to be coming from behind all the time earlier on today, whereas right now he's in a much, much better position.
All right, so just 1 lap left to go. Panja of the Netherlands leading these guys into the second transition zone, and keep your eye on the Austrian athletes who already have their trainers on.
Yeah, we expect them to come out pretty much at the front now because they don't have... Here we go, 1 Austrian athlete is out already. I think the other one may have just had a little struggle rocking his bike. That's Winschbauer just coming around him there, so I think he had a little bit of a problem with his bike.
Okay, so we've got 5 laps of this 200-kilometre track, which will decide places 13 to 24 in the men's contest.
So we've got Kovacs leading, Matteo Vidal coming round him now to take the lead. Harry Lelou, should mention that Harry Lelou was here last year. He raced this race many times because when he races to the French club teams, this is his club team, Lievin. So he's always supported this event, and he was second in the B final last year in a really tight sprint finish. I'm sure he'll be wanting to do one better this time.
Yeah, fourth in 2022 before it was a World Cup. So he knows his way around this track. He knows how to do very, very well here in Lievin.
Now we've got Abdelmuller just moving his way up round the side of Harry Lelou, so he's now moved into third place. He's got that really long, rangy stride, and it almost looks like they're sort of in a tactical middle distance race here, doesn't it? No one's really willing to show their cards too early as they're preparing for a final burn-up. They've only got 2.5 laps to go.
Well, it's all pretty tight. You wouldn't want to count anyone out from, well, I think the top 6, top 7 maybe, could all have a chance of at least winning this not semi-final, beg your pardon, B-final. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, when I was looking at the list for this B-final, I didn't think I could pick a clear favourite, you know. On a normal day, I would have said it was Yannis Seguin, but he clearly hasn't quite been on top form today. The racing we've seen from him in the last year or so, where he was second at European Championships and won a World Cup, he's clearly not there yet at this point in the season. So there's a little bit of an injection of pace at the front of the race with Gawad Abdelmuller, Matteo Vidal and Harry Lelou putting a little bit of distance between themselves. And it's Soton who is just behind them in fourth. So right now we've got a little bit of a gap from the leading 3.
Yeah, things change very quickly in this form of triathlon. Abdelmuller takes the bell. One more lap then to decide our B final.
And Harry Lelou is thinking this is deja vu. This time last year he was here in the exact same position, sprinting for all his might to try and win the B final. And look at him go round Abdelmuller now. He does not want the same fate in 2025. He wants to win this B final. And as they head on to the finish straight, he's got some daylight. He's got to keep pumping. Abdelmuller coming.
And Harry Lelou wins that B final. Abdelmuller looks absolutely shattered as he comes home in second. And we're having to catch athletes there. And Kovacs just falls over, I think.
And it was Matteo Vidal who took the third place in that B final in the end.
You can see, can't you, just what that was taken out of those athletes. They all gave it their absolute all. A couple of them still on the floor. My goodness me. What a B final that was. The best is yet to come, though, in the men's competition.
That was exceptional racing there. I mean, this is the B final, but you could see what it meant to these athletes. They still really wanted to win it. And by coming first in this final, you end up becoming the 13th placed overall, and that is important for your points too.
Yeah, don't make no mistake. Plenty to play for in these B finals before we get to the main event later on.
And it's nice to win a race, isn't it? You know, Harry Lelou there giving a little punch. Must feel really brilliant for him to win a race.
So confirmation then of those results. Lelou in first, Abdelmuller in second, Vidal from France in third, Kindle from Austria in fourth. So the athletes there still in the main area. We've got one of the French guys, he's still on the floor. He looks like he's absolutely shattered.
Yeah,
I think that's Vidal.
I can't work out if he's 32. Shattered or if he's clutching his quad, but I think he's okay. I think he's just absolutely shattered with the effort he's put in. It's
been a long day, hasn't it, for these athletes, especially if you've gone through the repechage, you've come here.
That's it. If you've raced the repechage, this is your fourth race, and they started at 1 o'clock this afternoon. It's now coming up 8:45 local time, so they've had a big day, these athletes, and they're now absolutely buzzing and pumped full of adrenaline, and they've got to try and get to bed at some time tonight as well.
That's fine. So our attention will start to turn to the women's B final shortly. As we get a bit of a light show here in Lievin.
Yeah, the party's well and truly started now, hasn't it? I mean, as we said earlier, we came in at 1 o'clock and there was already an atmosphere in this stadium, and now here we are and it is absolutely pumping. We've got live DJ, we've got fire on the side of the pool going off right now. We've got the light show. It is absolutely going off in here.
It really is, and what a brilliant event for triathlon. It's so different, isn't it, to what we're used to seeing, and I for one hope we get a few more of these.
Definitely, it's a unique event. We don't have anything quite like this. There is other indoor events, but none that have the running and the cycling on a track as well. That is just something that I think should be marketed more worldwide than it is. I think it brings so much excitement to the sport. Being able to have crowds in a stadium here to watch triathlon, it's really special and it's really bringing something new to our sport.
So just a reminder then of the order of play. We have next up the women's B final. We'll then get the men's A final after that, before Cassandre Beaugrand gets her final showing in front of these home fans, who I'm sure are going to go absolutely wild for their home hero. So the crowd being whipped up into a frenzy, the MC earning his money today. It's, as we've mentioned a few times, it's been a long day here in Lievin, but the crowd are absolutely loving it. It's time, though, to look ahead to the women's B final. And who, Vicky Holland, is catching your eye here?
Yeah, you know, Tanya Newbert on any given day, she shouldn't be in this B final. She's had a brilliant start to 2025 already. And, oh, well, she's not coming out. That's interesting. She should have been the first athlete to come out. So I wonder if maybe she's withdrawn from the race. We haven't heard that officially, but she should have already come out. The fact she hasn't tells me she's withdrawn, and maybe just an indication that she's not having the day that she wanted to. And we've seen that in her racing so far. So that leaves us next up with Sandra Dode, the home favourite then to take the win in this B final. She's raced here multiple times. She's had multiple World Cup wins in her career and would love to do something similar here today in Lievin.
We were talking about some of the athletes who've kind of gone the whole hog today.
Yeah.
Annabelle Morton from Great Britain has done exactly that. She's been in the repechage. She's now got her 4th race of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, how on earth do you, it's a big ask, isn't it?
It's a really big ask. She just had her worst race of the day was the first one. In her heat, she just wasn't there yet, but in both her repechage and her semi, she was really good. She won her repechage. She was 5th, just missing out on one of those automatic A final qualification spots in her semi-final, and that's why she finds herself in the B final here. But she's ran really well every time she's taken to the track today, so if she can be in the mix as they come off the bike, she could be in with a good shout too.
So Vanessa Posper of Switzerland, the final athlete to come out. She'll make her way to the swimming pool, where we'll look to get this women's B final underway.
Please, you're now in the hands of the starter.
So the women's B final underway. 8 lengths of this 25-metre pool.
That's right, and I believe that's Margot Garabedian in the blue suit and the red hat, wearing number 25 in the middle there. She's one of our best swimmers, and she's likely to be one of the first ones out of the water here.
Yeah, it's pretty even so far as they hit the 50-meter mark.
We've seen a lot more separation in the women's events today than we have in the men's across the swim, and that's played really into what's happened later on in the races. At times we've seen athletes take a whole lap over other athletes on the bike, actually lap and catch up to athletes on the bikes. They take a whole 200 meters out of them. That hasn't happened in any of the men's races so far, but the bigger the separation in the water, that's when the chances grow that we're going to see that situation again. I don't think this spread at the moment shows that we're likely to have that, but we're only 100 meters in, so you know, let's wait and see what happens.
Absolutely.
So that is lane 9, that's Marta Pintinel-Raimundo. She's leading at the moment, her alongside Margot Garabedian. Those are our 2 swim leaders. That's the Spanish suit furthest away of Marta Pintinel. Right, number 21 on her hat.
So pretty even between her and Garabedian as we have 50 meters left to go of this swim leg. I guess though, from the evidence of what we've seen today, particularly in the women's events, if you can build a lead on the bike, it is mighty powerful, providing you don't get caught by the chasing pack.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what we have seen, as you correctly said there, is in the women's side specifically, putting the power down in the swim, going all in on the swim has a massive advantage, because you really can cause huge gaps to appear out onto the bike, and then you find yourself on the run with a massive head start.
So the athletes about to get out the pool and make their way down to the first transition zone.
Interesting, these athletes have definitely swam quicker in earlier rounds today, so I think that's probably just a little bit of a sign of the fatigue that they're feeling. As we said, for a lot of these girls, it might be their 4th race of the day. That's a lot of racing to do, and I think that's just starting to show that their swim times are starting to come down a little bit.
It's a lot to do. It's also, they're going all out pretty much, aren't they, in these races? It's not in, it's a different kind of fitness perhaps to the Olympic distances they might be used to.
Oh, completely different. And on top of that, there'll be some athletes like Margot Garabedian, who was in a really tight battle to try and get into the A final. She didn't have the luxury of cruising through a semi-final. She had to go all in. Because she's had to go all in just an hour or so ago, she's now probably still not quite fully recovered, because she's done a 10-minute max effort, and now she's got to go again and try and find her swim form, and now obviously her bike and run form too.
So Guerrero gets out in front ahead of Garabedian.
And then it was a Swiss athlete, I believe. I just caught a glimpse of that red suit in 3rd. So that will be Vanessa Posberg.
Yeah, it's pretty even between the 3 at the front.
Yeah, and once again we're seeing at the back of the race Annabelle Morton, who's not had the most amazing swim, but she's been really good on the bike and run legs today. So if she can get herself back into the race, she'd like to have a real stab at it, I'm sure, when it comes to the run. But at the moment, the front of the race is having no let up.
It must be tough when you're tired, when you're fatigued, when you're chasing down these athletes at the front. My goodness me.
I think that's Franca Rust just made it onto the front as well. Garabedian's there. Yul Behrens is making it on as well, and that's interesting because she's an athlete who's run pretty well so far today, but again has had to go through all 4 rounds, had to do the repechage, and at times has been caught out by not swimming as well. Today, in this B final, she's put herself just in touch, and that could mean she's in with a shout come the run as well.
Keep your eye on Cassandre Beaugrand as well, because she's quite far back at the moment, but she's a ferocious runner, isn't she? And she's proven over the course of today she's got a lot in the locker when it comes to the run.
She really has, and it's sort of been the tale of her career. You know, she can be there towards the end of the bike. She will absolutely be in a mix for a medal or even the win in this standard of racing. But today she just hasn't quite had it. She hasn't been able to put herself there on the swim and bike. And again, as I said, that's happened a lot of times in her career. And so the further we go into this bike, we're now halfway through the bike leg. That group is getting further and further away from them. And it looks as though those 3 athletes, Annabelle Morton, of course, Cassandre Beaugrand, and Hannelore Willen, I believe is the Belgian athlete in there as well. Those 3 athletes are looking to be really quite distanced off the back.
Absolutely. So 7 laps left of this bike leg before they will make their way to the transition area for the 1 kilometre sprint.
Yeah, there's still 2 Germans in that pack. Of course, we lost Tanja Nubert. She DNS'd this, did not start this B final. Franco Rust is still one of a really young group of German athletes coming through. She recently did her first ever World Series race in Abu Dhabi where she finished 17th. But she's one of their, young prospects coming through the German system. They have so many athletes at the moment. They seem to swarm every single start list. The young French and the young German athletes are just absolutely everywhere you look.
Yeah, it'd be tough to try and get in those mixed relay teams, wouldn't it, if you're part of those teams? I guess blessing and a curse, you get pushed further.
Yeah.
It's a more competitive setup, but also much harder to get to the top.
Absolutely, and they're in that period of time at the moment, especially in Germany, it seems, where they've got this amazing group of athletes that are just pushing each other on, and they're getting better and better, and they all just want to be the best of the crop. At some point, that might well start hindering them, but at the moment, I mean, if that isn't managed, I should say, but at the moment, it just seems to be pushing them out to better and better performances. And what's even more important is that virtually all of them seem to get on incredibly well, and that is the key to that.
So Pintanel of Spain has found her way to the front, and now it's all about staying as part of this pack. I don't think we're going to get a breakaway necessarily at this point in the race, so these guys will have one eye on the run, which is only in 2 laps time.
They will, and they're being relatively controlled, but they also know that there are 3 athletes behind, 2 of whom especially can really do some damage on the run, so they'll just need to keep that pace high enough to not allow them back into the race. Streicheling off the front there.
Yeah, Drailing of the Netherlands has taken the initiative. She's trying to gain as much as possible on the bike leg. That does mean she's first in the transition zone. And Vicky Holland, talk us through what we're seeing now.
Yeah, so being first is a massive, massive benefit. Helmet goes straight into the bucket. As soon as you rack your bike, you must rack your bike first. Feet into your shoes as quick as you can. The best in the world to do that in just 1 to 2 seconds, and then straight out onto that running track.
Yeah, Roost has come out looking very, very good indeed.
She absolutely has.
She's flying out in front ahead of the Swiss athlete there, followed by the 2 Spanish athletes.
That's right, and then it's Yul Behrens there, that young German athlete. She's got real form on the run. She's an athlete who was second at World Juniors a couple of years ago, had a nasty bike crash about 18 months ago and has been building back form since that point. Big training partner of Laura Lindemann, they're great friends, and she's just making her way at the outside of that group now, having just made contact with them. So now we have 2 Germans and 2 Spaniards right at the front of the race.
Just a reminder, this is for places 13 to 24. So not a huge prize in the sense of the final today, but definitely ranking points on offer here. The athletes will be going all out, you can rest assured, to try and finish as high as possible.
That's right, so we've got Pintanel of Spain, we've got Jimenez Alter of Spain, we've got Franco Rust of Germany, and we've got Yul Behrens of Germany, and those are the 4 right at the front now, with Margot Garabedian of Cambodia just trying to make contact on the back of that pack.
French crowd are really trying to get behind Cassandre Beaugrand, who has made up some ground as well. She's currently in 7th.
Yeah, that's really impressive running, the fact that she's managed to get herself up to there already. There's just about 2 laps to run. And she's put herself in with a really good shot where she's at there. She's 6th place, and she's actually making ground incredibly fast here. Don't write her off yet. She's only, 20 metres behind them now?
Yeah, absolutely. So 2 laps left.
Yes.
Exactly, yeah. There's definitely time for Cassandre Beaugrand here to give the home crowd something to cheer about.
And
you can hear them, can't you?
Absolutely. The energy in this stadium just elevated, and she is going to make it. She is onto the back of that athlete pack now.
If she keeps up this pace, she's going to end up winning this B final.
Well, she's put herself in with a great chance, and what she's got right now is momentum. She's got momentum, she's got confidence. She was out of this race, and she's put herself in with a chance of winning it.
This is why we love this form of triathlon, because you never quite know what's going to happen. Cassandre Beaugrand takes the lead as the bell sounds here in Lievin. The home crowd are on their feet cheering her through.
And I can't even count how many tricolor flags I can see waving right now. The crowd are all on their feet. Everyone wants to see Cassandre Beaugrand do this.
It's Behrens in second, Roost in third. The two Germans chasing down the French athletes.
And it's all going to come down to the sprint. They've got just about 100 meters to run. They're about to hit that blue carpet. Who's got the legs?
So Beaugrand out in front. This is going to be a sprint right to the very end. Has she expended too much energy? Roost is coming past. Roost takes it in the end. Beaugrand in second.
Behrens, I think, just snuck the third. Oh, we're getting, well, I think that's going to be a photo finish there between Maria Teresa Jimenez and Yul Behrens. The two of them were very, very close across the line.
The two Germans take a seat and look absolutely shattered. I mean, that's I'm not sure that's quite what the seat's for, but I think we'll give it to them on this occasion.
I'm not sure what it's there if it's not for them to sit on. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of straight in front of them as they cross the finish line. It's perfectly positioned for them to just go and have a little sit down.
What a shot this is. All 5 of those athletes going over the line.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to need a sideways angle here to see whether it was Behrens or whether it was Jimenez who took that. I think you're right. I actually think it was Jimenez. I think she just got there in time.
Yeah.
There we go, confirmed.
Confirmation then of Roost in first, Beaugrand in second, Guerrero in third from Spain, and the German Julia Behrens in fourth. So that concludes the B finals. Next up, it's the business end, the A finals. So Vicky Holland, we're just about getting our breath back, aren't we, after those
Are we?
two?
Not yet.
We've still got some athletes down on the sofa. They aren't in a rush to move, and rightly so. As we get some Freddie Mercury going out over the speakers here, and a couple of the Spanish athletes just going and saying hello to, I think, some of their supporters round in the corner.
Yeah, it's great. There's so many athletes sort of just jogging around the track and giving high fives, and there are so many triathlon fans here today, and a lot of them are children, and this is exactly what this event can do. It can really inspire a new generation of triathletes, and seeing the professional athletes who've just raced their hearts out spend some time giving out some high fives, I think that's just really special and really important.
Yeah, I mentioned Cassandre Beaugrand doing it earlier. She's been here all week and she's been signing autographs. She was handing photos out. They've had these big murals of the French Olympic team. I mean, they talk about legacy. We talked about it with London 2012, didn't we? An awful lot about what that meant going forward. And I feel like the French public, the French crowd are just getting behind these athletes in a way they've never done before.
They're absolutely living that legacy right now. They're sort of in the prime moment for that, aren't they? So coming up to a year post-Paris that was so successful for them, not just in the way they executed the whole Olympic Games, but in the success they brought back in terms of medals as a home nation. So they really are living that legacy right now. And an athlete like Cassandre Beaugrand, she's really warmed into this role that she now has as a superstar and a role model and an icon of French sport. That's something that she's had to grow into. She'll admit it's not something that she would choose. It's not a role in her life that she really wanted, but she accepts that with the success she's had, she has a responsibility to that, and she's done brilliantly. As you said correctly, Matt, she's been here all week. She's been engaging with fans. She's been signing autographs and doing interviews, doing a brilliant job of just being the face of triathlon that she really is.
It's certainly why all the fans are here today, to get a glimpse at their hero. So we've got the technical delegation coming out for these finals. There they are.
In the long walk.
Yeah, they're making this transition zone look a lot slower, aren't they, than we're used to seeing it.
I mean, we don't wish to be disparaging to the officials, who of course do an incredible job in these events, absolutely couldn't run without them. But yes, it does highlight how fast the athletes are going when you watch someone walk it.
Absolutely, right, so they make their way to their positions. We're about to get our men's finalists out shortly. So let's have a look then, shall we, at the start list for the men's final. Vicky Holland, Hayden Wilde. He's got a lot to do, hasn't he, in this final? I think that's fair to say.
I think what we've seen, we saw in the women's racing about how you can expose someone whose swimming isn't perhaps as good and you can really make a break happen. We haven't so much seen that in the men's racing, but Hayden did get put under a little bit of pressure in his heat earlier on today, and he had to work quite hard on the bike, but he is still very much comes into this as the favourite. He is the current world #1. He is the reigning Olympic silver medalist. He has a bronze medal from Tokyo Olympics as well. He's shown himself really to be the most versatile athlete in the world, and winning today would just cement that.
Let's talk about Henry Graf, who just came out as well. He is a very, very impressive young German athlete. He's part of that mixed relay team that finished first in Abu Dhabi. He was 4th in the individual event. He's coming in red-hot form, and he's looked really good today, hasn't he? He
has. He did well at the World Under-23 Championships last year as well, so he shows he's still a very young athlete. But he's a really rangy athlete, and he's one of the athletes who'll be trying to put Hayden under pressure early. He'll be trying to go with someone like a Mitch Kolkman, who we expect to lead out our swim. And those athletes can put real pressure on someone like Hayden behind. Don't make it easy for him. They'll want to go really hard and make him chase them.
Yeah, you can pretty much bet that Mitch Kolkman is going to be there or thereabouts, certainly at the end of the swim.
He's been our fastest swimmer today. He was our fastest swimmer last year. You know, he was hitting about a 1:57, 1:58 coming out of the water for the 200. So I would expect to see him be our leader.
Certainly would. Right.
Leo Fernandez made the final again, and he again must be pretty much our youngest athlete, bar the man who's about to follow him. This is David Lang, and I've been raving about this lad today because he is just coming out of those junior ranks. 4th at World Juniors last year, and he's raced his heart out today, and he's raced so smartly and so maturely. I've been really impressed with what he's done.
Yeah, when you consider the age and the event, it's a very, very impressive performance. The question now, though, for the likes of Lang and those men in the final is how much do they have left in the tank? Because this is where it really, really matters.
Athletes, you're now in the hands of the starter.
So the men's final here in Lievin gets underway. It's a 200-metre swim, 8 lengths of this 25-metre pool. And already we've got eyes on Mitch Kolkman, who looks... I want to say he's in front. I'm trying to find which one he is.
Yeah, no, I think Mitch Kolkman is on the very, very far side of the pool, but he's got company.
He certainly does. Duval of France there making the turn.
Of course, yes, Antoine Duval, incredibly classy swimmer as well. And then in the very middle of the pool wearing those German colours, that's Henry Graf. That's the long, rangy stroke that I talked about. And it is funny with swimming, it's often the ones who look the easiest in the water are actually the ones who are the fastest. It sort of seems counterintuitive. They don't look fast, but they are super fast.
And what we're seeing now is we're seeing a few of the athletes here take control of their lane. They're out in front of their lane partner, as it were. I mean, sharing a lane quite unusual in triathlon, Vicky.
Very much so, not something we're used to at all. And someone like Mitch Kolkman, we should say, he's got a real disadvantage because he is the fastest swimmer in the field, but he's having to swim up against the wall. There's no lane rope, there's nothing there to protect him from the wash that's coming off the wall against him. And he's got 12 athletes in that pool making a huge amount of wash, and he's having to sort of absorb it as it comes off the wall. So there's no question that'll be slowing him down. I wonder if it's going to take the edge off the times that we might have expected to see from him.
It won't surprise you. Oh, there you go. You can just see there, can't you, in shot, the two athletes sharing a lane neck and neck. And that's exactly what we're talking about. And that won't be helping
them either. That will be making them slower. And those two athletes, one of whom was Hayden Wilde. Hayden Wilde looking a long way down right now. Just crossing paths with Mitch Kolkman going in the opposite direction, and that could be critical. This is what we talked about. This is the Cassandre Beaugrand style of racing. Are they going to be able to get a gap that he just can't get back to?
So Kolkman makes that look pretty effortless, actually, getting out the pool.
I make it, he touched again in about a 1:57, 1:58, and again, considering he's in an outside lane, incredibly impressive swimming.
And certainly from Hayden Wilde's point of view, as he gets, well, pretty much last out of the pool there.
So we're just waiting for a time split to come up still. 14 seconds out of that swim. Now that really could be decisive. This is where Hayden Wilde has to be his very best. A, through transition, and B, out onto the bike.
He's certainly leaving a lot to do, but let's focus our attention, shall we, right at the front. Mitch Coltman leads. He's been used to over the last few races we've seen here today. He goes out hard. He'll go out first and fast. And that looks exactly like what he's doing now. Exactly,
that's been his method through the heats, it's been his method through the semi-finals. He's going out hard, he's making other people chase him. And that has helped him every single race. There's a really specific reason, why he's doing that now as well. He has got 3/4 of a lap on Hayden Wilde. We can see the whole lap where we're stood here. He's got 3/4 of a lap on Hayden already. Hayden has got his work cut out here. He needs to absolutely give everything on the bike to just make it back in the pack.
It's fair to say Hayden Wilde looked very, very good on the run across today. So
yeah, he's looked very in control, hasn't he?
Exactly. We might have a lot left in the tank, but this form of triathlon seems to be exposing his swimming ability as things stand.
We did see him do an interview after the semi-final where he sort of, with a little smirk, acknowledged that his pool swimming isn't really his forte. And unfortunately, he's found himself up against some of the best pool swimmers in triathlon today. And that's why he's found himself exposed here. What he's doing very well, though, is he's keeping that pressure on and he's slowly making his way back up to that main big group. So there are the 3 athletes away at the front. We've got Mitch Coltman, Henry Graf, and the young... Is it young? No, of course it's not. Sorry, it's Antoine Duval. Sorry, my bad. It's my mistake. It is Antoine Duval who's in that pack as well. So those 3 are at the front and they are away. Then there is most of the other athletes are in one main pack, and then behind that we've got Hayden. Hayden's now only about 40 metres or so behind that main group.
Yeah, David Lang, part of that group as well, holding his own, the young Luxembourg athletes here in Lievin. All right, so we've got 8 laps left to go. It really does go past in the blink of an eye here. You blink and you miss it. You
get a bit
really
dizzy
do.
Watching it, don't you? Sort of, hang on, where's the front again?
Yeah, kind of makes the audience look like they're watching tennis rather than triathlon. But
yeah.
There we go. So,
and 200 metres on the track when you're on a road bike and when they're absolutely going full gas, it goes by so fast.
So that leading group seems to be sharing the load out in front.
That's exactly what they should be doing if they want to go into T2 here with a healthy gap on the likes of Hayden Wilde and those athletes coming from behind. They have to share the workload. They know that someone like Hayden is going to be working incredibly hard behind them, and they've got no choice but to work together.
Yeah, Graf in that group now, who's just going out in front. He's got experience in this distance. He was 5th in 2022, but he's also done very, very well in the e-triathlon championships as well, where they're stationary on a bike, stationary on the treadmill. So he knows what it takes to do very, very well at this super sprint distance.
Yeah, and added to that, he's just become renowned. Even though he's still quite a young athlete, he's become really renowned for his bike strength and his bike power. I've heard other athletes talk about how hard it is to race against him when he's really going for it. So he's putting that to good use here.
He certainly is. 2 laps left of the bike, and we've definitely got a couple of groups. They've got that group out in front, currently led by Coltman, who's, to be fair to him, is holding his own, isn't he?
He really is holding his own. And then this chase pack we've got, for the last couple of laps, I think Shasha Sagiv has sat on the front of that pack, and I'm really surprised that someone like Hayden Wilde hasn't taken upon himself to try and go to the front and push it on. Now, he had to put in a really big effort, of course, to get onto that group, but his chances of winning surely rely on him being a little bit closer to the front.
Yeah, he's second from last, actually, at the back with James Edgar of Ireland. So this will be fascinating to see what happens. But let's look at the transition zone. Graf is in there. The rest of the athletes all arrived. There's a bit of traffic. It's kind of chaotic as you see the bikes clashing with each other.
Yeah, certain athletes racking whilst other athletes are trying to exit. Hayden Wilde having a really sluggish transition here, and he's normally incredibly slick at this point of the race.
He's got it all to do then on this run as Mitch Coltman leads them out on 5 laps of this 200-metre track. Graf in second and Duval in third.
I mean, we'll never write off Hayden Wilde. We know what he can do on the run, and a kilometre is still 2.5 minutes or so, a little bit more of running. But he has put himself in a really difficult position here. He's going to have to overtake 10 athletes if he wants to make it to the front.
We're going to get the pleasure of Hayden Wilde on the T100 this year. We know he's been training hard for Singapore in a few weeks' time. In the heat and in the humidity, this is a very different type of race. He will, however, as the highest ranked athlete, hope to be better, hope to get further forward here, and hope to have a say on what happens in the final few stages.
I mean, we know he hasn't peaked for this event. We know where his focus lies this year, and it is with the T100, as well as trying to do as well as he can do in the World Series, the short course racing. So this is a bit of a sharpener race, he said, but because it's Hayden and because we know how versatile he is and how well he races almost every single time he takes to the start line, we expect him to win. That's just how we feel about Hayden. He's now just starting to make his way around that pack, but he's not gaining on those leaders at anywhere near the pace that he needs to if he wants to win this race.
Well, you might there have heard the cheers of the French crowd, because they realise that they've got a French athlete here with a very, very good chance of winning. You can see the MC raising his hands here in the stadium. Antoine Duval here in second has got an excellent chance as he's on the back of Mitch Kolkman, Henry Graf just behind, the three of them leading this final here in Lievin and looking very, very good. I think it's going to be these three as we see a pretty big gap between the group behind. Yeah,
that gap hasn't come down anywhere near fast enough, and I just think these three have done enough. Antoine Duval was 9th here last year, but he hasn't really done anything other than European Cup podium, so this would be his highest level of achievement were he to podium here today. And it's worth saying, he did not look good in the heats earlier today. He's looked incredible in this final.
He has, but you know who's looked even better? Henry Graf, who is absolutely marching on the back straight here. He looks in fantastic shape as he's reaching this final few corners.
And Antoine Duval's gone for one last surge to really try and secure that silver medal.
But you know what? Henry Graf, who was here last year, he made the final. But you know what? This is his time. Henry Graf wins in Lievin, and he is the T1 Indoor World Cup champion for 2025. What a sprint finish that was. Duval from France in second, Kolkman in third, and Leo Fernandez in fourth.
That was some racing. Hayden there crossing the line in fifth. There was a real bunch sprint from that pack behind. There was a lot of them coming in really close to one another, but that is why this type of racing is so exciting, because it shows anything can happen. Yes, Henry Graf was one of the favourites, but he was not our nailed-on favourite. Our nailed-on favourite any day of the week for this race was Hayden Wilde, and Henry Graf has shown what you can do if you take this race by the neck. Him, Mitch Kolkman and Antoine Duval absolutely deserve their podium results today after the way they took that race on.
One final look behind him when he realised he'd won here in Lievin.
Just continues an early but fantastic start to the season for Henry Graf. He hasn't put a foot wrong so far this year, and just got to wonder what more we're going to see from this young athlete.
Yeah. We mentioned it earlier, didn't we? The quality of German athletes coming through on the men's and the women's side. It's a really good time for German triathlon right now.
It really is, and I think that's just hammered home by the fact they are the mixed team relay, both world and Olympic champions at the moment.
All right, so confirmation then that Graf wins. He's in first place. Second was Antoine Duval. Mitch Kolkman of the Netherlands in third. Leo Fernandez in fourth. Very, very good result for him. Disappointment, I'm sure, for Hayden Wilde, although, as we mentioned, he might not quite have been in this sort of form for this type of event coming here. And Nathan Greal of France also in seventh. So lovely to see Kolkman and Graf there just sat on the sofa, kind of just talking about what a final that was, because they pushed each other right to the end. And really good to see, actually, Mitch Kolkman, who he's taken the initiative, hasn't he, in the races we've seen. And it was good to see him rewarded.
Yeah, he's had a formula today. He's done it every single time he's raced. and he's been truly rewarded for that, and I really enjoyed seeing that. I enjoyed seeing him say, well, I'm going to have to play this to my strengths. My strength is the fact that I am the best swimmer, so I'm going to give it all on the swim, and I'm going to try and force a break. And even if I don't get a break, I'm going to go really hard at the start of the bike and make other people work hard to catch me. And every single time he's done it, he's been rewarded, none more so than taking home a bronze medal today.
Yeah, you think about where we are in the season. What a great way to start your year with that success in Abu Dhabi, and then also success here. It just sets you up, doesn't it, for a brilliant season to come.
Yeah, it really does. And I know the German team have gone in pretty hard with their training early on this season. They've already spent a lot of time away on training camps. They've been in Africa, in South Africa, I believe. They've also been in Namibia at altitude. So they're not coming here sort of warming into the season. They're coming here fit and ready, and it's really showing. There we go. We've got our mascot wearing the local team's tri-suit. That is the Lievin sports team, the triathlon tri-suit.
It looks pretty good. I saw they were for sale in the foyer. I thought I might pick,
one? Yeah.
Thought I might pick myself up one.
We're going to get you entering a triathlon now.
Oh, well, yeah.
An indoor one.
Yeah, it might be a while before it's this one. Pretty unique. So the fans being asked to pick up their phones with their lights. It looks pretty good, doesn't it?
It does. It looks great. It's literally bouncing.
It literally is bouncing.
The lights are bouncing.
Actually trying to work out what the mascot is or who the mascot is. Some sort of animal. I don't know.
I'm not sure if it's just meant to be a little guy. Yeah, it's just a...
Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah. He was turned away from me. I'm sorry. Sorry to
that was his gelled
mascot.
up spiky hair, you know. And again, in the background there, we just saw some of the male athletes who just competed, stopping, signing autographs, giving high fives around the track. Just such a great atmosphere here, and it's such a great day for the fans.
So this event continues to be very, very unique. And here's hoping we see plenty more of this in the future, because it is a wonderful, wonderful event here in Lievin. All right, so time for our final race of the evening, and it is the race that I'm sure the fans here are most excited for. It's their chance to cheer on their home hero, Cassandre Beaugrand. And Vicky Holland alongside me throughout the whole of today. It's hard to look past Cassandre, isn't it, in this final?
It is, but I mean, we said that about Hayden, didn't we? Cassandre has looked brilliant all day. She's lapped the field in both of the races that she's done. She's been able to take the run at a canter. She will face stiffer competition now, I'm almost certain of it. But what's going to be really interesting is if she can team up with someone like Zuzana Michalikova, because she's a really fantastic swimmer as well, and maybe the two of them could put some damage, put some time into the likes of Laura Lindemann, Nina Im, Rosé Maria Tapia Vidal, of course. Those are the athletes that they need to watch out for on the run.
They certainly do, and I guess, Beaugrand has been super impressive throughout today, but it is fair to say she hasn't been pushed.
No,
and
she's
so
not been put under pressure, has she? She's had it completely her own way up until now. That said, the athlete that she is, the all-round competitor that she is now, I don't think she will mind being put under pressure. Personally, I think as a fan of the sport, I would love to see that right now. I'd love to see that pressure being put onto Cassandre and us come down to something pretty special, some fireworks at the end of the race. But yeah, I think Cassandre Beaugrand goes in as favourite, and I think Laura Lindemann will fancy herself as maybe causing an upset.
Please welcome the women athletes of the final of the 2025 T1 Indoor Triathlon World Cup.
Well, as the highest ranked athlete, they're going to get to see Cassandre Beaugrand first. And let's listen in for the reaction to their Olympic champion.
The bronze medalist, 2024 Paris Olympic and gold medalist and world champion, Cassandre Beaugrand.
Must be nice coming home to an event like this.
Yeah, and having those sort of accolades of yours read out never gets old when you sort of are running to the start line and hearing people say the things that you've done, and hopefully she's getting to the point where she can sort of soak that up and really enjoy that now.
So, out of the athletes here, who would you put your money on causing the biggest challenge to Cassandre Beaugrand?
I don't think I could look past Laura Lindemann. I think ranked 4th athlete going into this final, but I really think she's won here before. She won here last year in a really tight sprint finish. She is renowned for her ability over short distance racing. She's been a member of countless mixed team relays for Germany, most notably, of course, the Olympic Games, in which she won a sprint finish, meaning she has an Olympic gold medal, as well as Cassandre Beaugrand. I think that she will fancy her chances here, and as I said about the whole German team, I know they've been away on a couple of big training camps already this year. They're coming into this race fit. They are ready to go, and I think Laura Lindemann will fancy herself for an upset.
Yeah, last year's champion, I'm sure, will have something to say about giving the French fans something to cheer about. So the last few athletes make their way out. Mika Lichkova as well. I'm excited to see what she's got in the swim. She swam so well today.
Yeah, it's the 2 athletes in the blue swimsuits that we're going to be looking at in the middle of the pool. Those 2 are the fastest 2. They have been the fastest 2 across all the heats and semis so far. And also on the far side of the pool, we'll have Jolien Vermeulen as well, and she's another athlete who's got an incredible swim.
So the women's final underway here in Lievin. It's going to be an epic swim this, Vicky Holland. Take us through these opening stages.
It's almost off the dive, isn't it? Straight away we saw Zuzana Michalikova and Cassandre Beaugrand get almost half a body length on the athletes that they were racing next to. They both got such speed, especially in those first 50 metres, but over a 200-metre race they can really back that up too, and those 2 they're a whole body length ahead of their closest competitor right now.
Yeah, it's the battle of the swimmers at the moment, because both of them look very good as we approach the 75-metre mark. Neck and neck, it has to be said, between Beaugrand and Mika Lichkova at the moment.
And then on the far side of the pool, we've got Jolien Vermeulen, but again, she's got that tough lane draw. She's in the very outside, so that is the slowest place to swim. You're facing having all that water wash off the wall and back against you. And on top of that, she's got an athlete, I think that's Nora Muir, right next to her, so she's almost on her hips, which will be slowing her down just a little bit as well.
Yeah, we should mention, as you would probably expect, this is a temporary pool, so the sides, certainly on the edges, obviously at the ends where they're touching, are firm and solid, but on the sides they are moving. It's a very impressive video of the time lapse of that pool being made.
It's also a really difficult pool to swim in general, because normally in a pool you have a black line to follow along the bottom, and you have a T at the end of the pool and also on the edge of the pool as well. So as you come in, you can sort of sight off that. They have a really faint line on the bottom of the pool and nothing on the end, so there isn't really a T to follow. When I did this race last year, I found it really hard to sight the edge of the pool and know when to turn. So that's something that just makes it just a little bit harder again.
And turning so often as well.
Vermeulen's put in a cracking last 50 metres,
she has,
because she was
she?
considerably behind Michalikova and Cassandre Beaugrand, and it looks like, after I spoke about how she's got the hardest place to swim, she's proving it doesn't matter where you put her in the pool, she's going to come out at the front.
So this is fantastic to see. Beaugrand has not had it all, or she has had it all her own way so far today, but she's been absolutely challenged out of the swim. Vermeulen actually leads them into this first transition zone. Beaugrand in second and Mika Lichkova in third.
Yeah, now up until this point, every time we've seen Cassandre Beaugrand get on the bike, she's taken a lap on the whole field. We saw Mika Lichkova do that as well in her semi-final. They haven't got the same level of gap right now. There is the 3 of them though, so if they can really press on now, it's got to be a swift transition, then they could get away and make a little pack of 3.
Beaugrand gets away well from the first transition zone. She's out in front. Vermeulen maybe had a problem there.
Yeah, that wasn't fast at all from Vermeulen, and she was right in the mix with these other 2 athletes, and now she finds herself on the bike in about 7th position. So That's really cost her, and again, it just highlights the value of transitions in this level of racing. Her opportunity to be in a breakaway 3 has just disappeared because she didn't get transition right.
Mark your cards as well. Cassia Shah, she is excellent on the bike. She was 14 seconds behind coming out the swim, but I would bet that she will be able to catch up here and make her way near or near enough to the front to be a factor come the run.
You're absolutely right, and it is actually the other Swiss athlete at the moment, Nora Muir, and she's putting in a phenomenal effort to try and catch up to Cassandre Beaugrand and Zuzana Mishrakova. So it could be a different 3 than we expected out onto the bike, but it could be a 3 quite soon. She hasn't even put her feet in yet. That shows how hard she's going. She hasn't had time to actually take a moment and put her feet in. So she'll be getting less power transfer through her pedals by not doing that, but she would also have to freewheel and stop pedaling for a couple of seconds if she wanted to. So there we go. At that moment, she's just made it on to the back of that pack. So we've now got the race split almost into 3s. We've got a 3 at the front, a 3 chasing behind, and then another 3 behind that.
Beaugrand on her new bike for this season. It's gold, and it's pretty good. You should check it out on her Instagram. It's got Cassandre Beaugrand written on the top, Olympic champion and world champion. And in times of strife, when she's struggling on the bike, she can look down at that and go, do you know what, I've got this.
Yeah, hopefully it gives her a little boost as and when she maybe needs it.
And actually there, she's happy to let the others take the lead and to do a bit of the work out in front.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, those 3 athletes are going to be better off if they work together. It's exactly what we saw in the men's final with those 3 athletes. They shared that lead and it paid off for them. And these 3 athletes will be thinking exactly the same.
They certainly will. So it's 14 laps in total, 2.8 kilometres on this bike part of the leg.
Now those 4 German athletes in that chasing pack, and they are gaining. They are coming closer and closer. We're only halfway through the bike leg now, and it's Lena Meissner on the front of that group, followed by Nina Eim. We've also, of course, got Lara Lindemann in that group as well, and it looks like they're going to get within range of them. They're getting pretty close now. Yeah, 5 Germans in the final. A tremendous showing from Team Germany here in Lievin. And Beaugrand is taking the initiative slightly here. She's split away from the pack. I mean, absolute hats off to Cassandre Beaugrand. She's an athlete that has never been renowned as being the strongest on the bike, but I know it's something she's worked incredibly hard on for the last couple of seasons to remove that sort of tag that came with her, that she was the swimmer and the runner and not a cyclist. And she's just showing it here again. She's gone, no, you're not having it that easy. You're not catching up. I'm going to put my head down and go again. And yeah, I absolutely take my hat off to her for having a real dig like that. She doesn't need to. She's thought of as the best runner. She could be saving her legs right now, but she's not.
Yeah, you mentioned her running there. We've mentioned it already today, but she set a new French record in the 5K. So she will feel very, very confident she's got what it takes on this 1 kilometre course to do amazing things in front of this French crowd. All right, so we're nearing the end of the bike leg. Gemur out in front at the moment. Beaugrand there in second, and Mikalichkova still in third.
Yeah, that chase pack behind those now only about 20 to 30 metres behind them. So we've only got 2 laps to go on the bike. But it seems like any second now we're going to be one large pack of 9 athletes. So I just counted them correctly. 9 athletes are all going to come together as they head into T2.
Yeah, it's so quick here. It goes by in a flash. And it's quite easy to lose track of where these athletes are. But Cassandre Beaugrand knows she's at the front. She started to unstrap her feet from her cycling shoes. She gets off the bike and makes her way into this second transition zone. She
did really well there. She put herself back to the front. She wasn't on the front with half a lap to go, and she moved herself around the outside as she undid her feet, took her feet out of her shoes. Smooth transition from Cassandra out onto the run first. That's what we know that she's capable of. She's always super slick and smooth in transition. And she's saying now to everyone else, if you want to take this from me, you've got to come after me.
Yeah, she is certainly setting the pace here, Cassandre Beaugrand. As I mentioned, the first time really she's been challenged in the race today. Across all of today, I should say. She's got Vermeulen there just for company, right tucked in behind her. I mean, they've only done 1 lap on the run. They've still got 4 to go, but she's putting in a really good account of herself.
And of course in third place that is the figure of Laura Lindemann. Now we expected her to at least be close to Beaugrand come the latter stages of the race, and she is still just about tacking onto the back.
Yeah, do not discount her, because she did exactly this in the final last year. She wasn't leading at any point apart from when it really, really mattered, and that was in the closing stages where she took the win.
Yeah, Cassandre Beaugrand has just started to gap those girls now. She's put her foot down just a little bit. She's got such a beautiful, rangy stride. It doesn't look like she's sprinting, but she's running away from some absolutely classy athletes here.
What do they have to answer to this pace from Beaugrand? What can Laura Lindemann, last year's champion, do? What can Vermeulen of Belgium do? Do they have an answer?
Right now, I would say it's looking unlikely. I mean, behind them, we've got Annika Koch, who looks to be making a bit of a breakaway from the group she was running in. But she's only got a couple of laps to run if she wants to get herself onto the podium, and Vermeulen is the one who's looking to start to struggle. She's going to have to hold on if she doesn't want to get caught and have that bronze medal snatched away from her.
And actually, right here, that's Beaugrand lapping Mikalichkova. They were neck and neck in the swim, but that just goes to show what an amazing runner Cassandre Beaugrand is to catch up like that.
I mean, right now, this isn't a contest. Cassandre Beaugrand has shown time and time again the class of athlete that she is, but she is racing against someone who is thought to be the best in the world at this distance of racing, this super sprint format, and she is making it look easy. She has taken about 50 meters out of her already. Absolutely unreal.
This is a masterclass from Cassandre Beaugrand. Every single person here in Lievin is up on their feet. They are cheering their French hero home. There is nothing that's going to stand in the way right now of Cassandre Beaugrand and being the champion here in Lievin. She goes round the final corner. There's tricolour flags everywhere you can see. And she will take the win. Cassandre Beaugrand wins here in Lievin. Oh, there she goes. She paused over the finish line. She takes the tape. Lindemann comes home in second.
And it was Koch who ended up getting that bronze medal. She overhauled Vermeulen just on the last lap there.
What a run from Koch at the end.
I mean, if anybody ever doubted that Cassandre Beaugrand was the best in the world, if anyone ever doubted that she was going to turn up this year and put her foot down and show her dominance once again, I think she's just silenced them.
She made that look easy. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
We saw how the likes of Hayden Wilde, also, you know, very highly ranked athlete, made it look quite difficult in the final, but Cassandre Beaugrand...
World number one.
Well, yeah, it never looked in doubt, did it?
No, I mean, she just looked so in control. She put her foot down early. She was able to enjoy the applause, wave to the crowd there, as we can see, embrace those fireworks, turn around at their tape, take a little bow, and still win when no one else was even on the blue carpet yet. She's a different level of athlete right now.
This is one of the best over the lines we've seen for a while, isn't it? Don't know if she planned that, maybe she didn't. Kind of form she's in, she'd have a right to plan it.
When you're that good, maybe you do have to start sort of planning your celebrations. And there we go, straight away, up onto the stands and signing autographs, taking selfies, fulfilling her duties as their national heroine in triathlon.
So confirmation then of the results. Beaugrand finishes in first place, Lindemann, last year's champion, second, Annika Koch of Germany in third, and Vermeulen of Belgium in fourth, ahead of the two Germans of Nina Eim and Lena Meisner.
Yeah, that's 4 Germans in the top 6. It's an incredible packing from them, and we've spoken about it several times today, but the depth in their team is insane.
Yeah, what are they doing in those training camps that that other teams aren't doing? Because whatever
Training
they're
hard,
doing is working very, very well.
Yeah, they just seem to have a really good, tight-knit group of athletes at the moment that get on and that want to train together and are happy. And I know for us in Great Britain, that led to our best era of female triathletes, when we just had so many of us tightly packing events like this, was when we were just a really good group of friends as well as competitors, and we would push each other in training every day, but you're each other's social group as well. And if that's what they're starting to cultivate in Germany as well, then it's only going to lead to bigger and better things for them.
Yeah, we're looking at some highlights here of Cassandre Beaugrand's run. Absolutely phenomenal performance from the French athlete. And she's not done signing autographs either. She's doing her duty just down in front of us here from our commentary position. So we're going to hear from some athletes. Henry Graf is standing by.
Well, Henry, congratulations. What a race today. You did a fantastic race from the heats in the morning till the final, no?
Yeah, it was like a really great day for me. Yeah, but I really didn't believe I could win this race, to be honest. But yeah, we and Mitch, we talked before the race that that's the only way to beat Hayden is to get away on the bike and to swim. And that's what we planned and what we tried. And yeah, really happy it worked out. And yeah, I was quite suffering on the run, but I just tried to hang on and then throw everything I had in there on the last 200. And suddenly I was on the front, and yeah, it's really nice.
And it's your first World Cup win, so I guess that feels really good, no?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it's my second ever World Cup even. And the year started really great for me, and now it's even better. So yeah, just really happy.
Congratulations, well done today.
Thank you. Yeah.
So Henry Graf there saying the only way to beat Hayden Wilde was to get ahead in the swim, and that's exactly what he did. All right, we got another interview standing by.
Antoine, what a race today. We saw the three of you working together to get a breakaway, both on the bike and on the run. And this is your best result ever in a World Cup, no?
Yeah, that's my first podium in World Cup, so I'm very happy with that. Yeah, in the swim, I had to push everything I had to try the breakaway with the two guys in front. And yeah, that's what he passed. So we try to cooperate to stay in front of and the behind can come back. And yeah, after on the run, I try to give everything to keep on the podium. And
really well done today. Congratulations.
Sorry?
Well done today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm not surprised you couldn't hear the interview there, because it has got really loud in here. I think we can hear from Mitch Kolkman, who's also standing by.
Mitch, you said after the semi-final that you will try to do your best in the final. You actually did deliver. How does that feel?
Yeah, incredible. Maybe I showed already a bit too much in the semis, but yeah, I really love to race this format, and yeah, I said we had to believe, and we made it happen. And breakaway, crazy scene. I'm just so happy.
Well done today. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Sorry, what was the question? Okay.
No one can hear a thing.
If ever you needed an illustration, if ever you needed an illustration of how loud it is in here, someone being told congratulations and then asking what the question was is the perfect highlight of that moment.
Yeah, very good. So the fans, most of them I think are going to stay for the medal ceremony a little bit later on, just to see Cassandre Beaugrand on the top step. We've got music at the moment from Ursa Major, who were here for the opening ceremony. Just sort of reflections, Vicky, on this event, and you look out now, you see a packed out stadium full of fans. This is such a great event, isn't it, for triathlon?
It's just so unique to our sport. Like, we don't get this in our sport very often, and it's the sort of thing as an athlete you dream of, being able to race in a stadium like that. It's amazing. It's such a great atmosphere, and I just wish we could have more of it.
Superb. Right, let's hear from our
Cassandra,
women's champion.
congratulations. I guess that running in this atmosphere feels amazing, no?
Yeah, I can't hear very much. It's a bit of a nightclub here. Yeah, it was like crazy atmosphere. I loved it from the start to the finish. So I just enjoyed myself. I just went hard, and I had so much fun. So yeah, that's the most important.
And we saw in the semi-finals and the heats that you were trying to break away on the swim, that this time you had company when you went out on the bike, no?
I mean, it's a type of format I really like when it's like just fast and furious. So like, I was just like, it's what we love to do. So just go hard and you will see what's happened. And if I blow up, I blow up. So I'm just happy with my day today.
Congratulations, really well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, she said that, had a lot of fun. Looked like she had a lot of fun, for sure. All right, we can hear from Laura Lindemann now, who finished in second.
Laura, second today. I guess that this feels a little bit bitter after winning here last year, but it was a really good race at the end, like catching up with the top 3 girls that were out of the bike.
Yes, I'm very happy with my second place here, and yeah, I felt super tired in the third race, but I think everybody did, and yeah, I was just super happy that we could catch up on the bike, and then on the run I just tried my best and yeah, come home with the second place. I'm super happy with that.
And we had 4 Germans in the final. I guess that we're getting used to see more and more of you. Did you have team tactics with the Germans?
Yeah, we have a very strong German team, and that's a good thing. I think it put some pressure on me as well, and yeah, I'm super happy that we could have 2 Germans also on the podium again, and yeah, shows that we are in the mix, and yeah, it's a lot of fun too.
Well done today, congratulations.
Thank you.
So the thoughts there of Laura Lindemann. We'll be able to get the thoughts of Annika Koch in a short while.
I'm really impressed they've actually managed to interpret all the questions so far, because it really has been so loud in this arena right now. I can see they're almost lip reading the questions that they're being asked, because it's just such a party atmosphere in here.
Yeah, it's the unenviable job of trying to be heard in this arena. All right, let's hear from Annika Koch, the German athlete.
Annika, we saw 4 Germans on the final. I guess that you were trying to have some team tactics here?
I actually did.
You were trying the 4 Germans to do any tactics?
Yeah, we thought that maybe some will have a gap after the swim. So we thought about working together on the bike to close that gap. Yeah, and yeah, in the end I think it was one big group, so it worked out. Even I didn't do that much on the bike, but Nina and Lena did a great job, and yeah, I think it was a good position for all the Germans, and yeah.
Well done today, congratulations.
Thank you.
So I think that concludes our interviews down in the zone, just where the athletes are hanging out after their race. The band are maybe about to finish, which for the good of everyone's voices in here might be a good thing, but they've been brilliant all day, so hats off to Ursa Major there.
Serious light show to finish off as well. They really are building this up, aren't they, to grand finale.
Yeah, they really, really are. Well, there we go. The music stops just as the interviews are finished, and that's
timing.
And that's what you call timing. Yes. All right. So our plan of action here, we're going to have the medal ceremonies. I thought it was interesting what Cassandre Beaugrand was saying there. She had so much fun, and as we reach this point, Vicky, in the year, it's the start of 2025. We've got an Olympic cycle, obviously just starting now. This year is an interesting year, isn't it, for athletes? How would you have approached this year, just after an Olympics?
Yeah, you know, you do work in 4-year cycles when you're an Olympic athlete, and the year post-Olympics is almost kind of your time to breathe a little bit, and that didn't happen in the last Olympic cycle because we had a short cycle with the delay of the Tokyo Games. So it was only 3 years between Tokyo and Paris, and it meant that people kind of didn't get that opportunity to take their foot off the gas a little bit and try and just make sure that the events they were doing were really the ones that they enjoyed. This time round, athletes are getting that opportunity, and you know, maybe we wouldn't have seen Cassandre Beaugrand at an event like this a couple of years ago, whereas now she's saying, I want to do an event that's really fun for me. And that's also really important. She's achieved so much. If she's going to continue to be the level of athlete and the superstar that she's shown to be already, she needs to keep it fresh. She needs to enjoy what she's doing, the process of training, but also the races that she's entering. And so coming to an event like this on home soil, where she's treated like the superstar she is, and where she engages with fans and gives back to the triathlon community and gets something back from it herself, that's everything, and that's exactly what she should be doing this year.
When did you start to think about the next Olympics?
Oh, when I crossed the finish line from the last one. No, probably not quite that soon, but it always was, you know, a project. I remember finishing in London 2012 and having a really strong desire to go to another Olympics, and this time to be a contender. So whilst, you know, maybe my actual planning of how I was going to get there took a little bit longer, I had that moment, you know, as soon as that Games was done. After Rio, it was a bit different. I allowed myself a little bit of time to enjoy what I'd been able to do there, but then immediately, I was straight into, okay, how am I going to get to the next Olympics? But, you know, you break that down. I wanted to try and target World Championships in between those two Olympics, and essentially that's what I ended up doing.
Yeah, to us mere mortals, 4 years sounds a really, really long time to be focused on a goal. But
I mean, it is as an athlete as well, and it's amazing how much difference that 1 year made when it was the delay for the Tokyo Games. And I've said it before, it was incredibly impressive, the people who came out in Tokyo and delivered after the interruptions we'd had, the delays we'd had, how hard it was to build up to that Olympics, to still come out and deliver at those games, I think was really incredibly impressive. And I certainly wasn't an athlete who managed to do that. I didn't perform at Tokyo in the way I'd hoped to do. And it was incredibly hard, not only because it was a 5-year cycle, but because of obviously everything that came with that, with the COVID era as well.
Yeah, so Cassandre Beaugrand will absolutely, you can bet, be focusing on that Olympic Games.
Yeah, we've never had a woman retain the Olympic title. The only person who's ever done that is Alistair Brownlee. So there will be a few athletes now hoping to do that. Of course, Alex Yee will be hoping to do the same in LA, and Cassandre Beaugrand, of course, in the females.
She absolutely will. And then it's interesting, actually, to contrast our two champions, isn't it? Henry Graf, much younger, will be looking to go better than he did. I mean, obviously, he was he's part of the team, wasn't he? But
yes, that won that won in Abu Dhabi this year. He wasn't part of the Olympic
wasn't part of the Olympic Games. Apologies.
Correct, yeah.
Getting them slightly mixed up. Right, we've got our medal ceremony just about to start. The athletes being walked into the middle
by some interesting outfits as well.
Yeah, I think we are in a coal mining hotspot here.
I see.
Historically.
So it's a nod to the region.
Yes, I think so.
World Triathlon elected president. Presenting gifts is Antoine Silly, vice president of the Région Hauts-de-France. Presenting flowers is Cédric Gosse, French Triathlon Federation president. In third place, and the winner of the bronze medal, representing Germany, Annika Bauer.
Superb performance from Annika Koch of Germany. Third place for her.
She obviously overhauled Jolien Vermeulen late on that final lap to take home a medal today, so that'll be pretty special that she knows she had to dig really deep for that, and she very easily could have settled for fourth, but she said not today, thank you, and she's been rewarded for her efforts.
There you go. I think that's a trophy with a nod to the coal industry in this area.
That's something to pack in your suitcase to get home.
It's going to be quite hard to take home and not get it broken, I think.
I hope they haven't got luggage allowances.
Hop in her car over to Germany.
Representing Germany, Laura
Laura Lindemann then finishing second, said she was pretty happy with that performance, and I guess when you're up against the likes of Cassandre Beaugrand, you know, it's a very, very good result, isn't it, for her?
She seemed genuinely pleased, didn't she? She seemed like she knew she'd given all she could, and she put in a really good account of herself there. And as we said, Cassandre Beaugrand is just on another level right now, and there's probably a little bit of an acceptance of that as well when she looks at her silver medal.
In first place, and the winner of the gold medal at the 2025 T1 Indoor Triathlon World Cup Lievin, representing France, Cassandre Beaugrand.
So the crowd showing their approval for Cassandre Beaugrand. To be honest, if you look back at all of the heats, the semi-finals and the final, kind of never looked in doubt, did it?
Never ever really put under any serious pressure. She had a bit of company on the bike on that final race, but she was the first out of transition, first into and first out of transition for the run, for that final run. Oh, there we go, someone's got the giant Cassandra head. And yeah, she just never was challenged again, and I think that just shows the dominance that she's got right now and where she's at in her career. She really is in this golden spot.
Please rise if you can for the playing of the national anthem of France.
An anthem we're going to get used to hearing an awful lot, you sense, don't you, in triathlon over the coming years. Cassandre Beaugrand, our champion here, the T1 Indoor World Cup winner.
Three very, very deserving medalists there. They were fantastic all day, all three of them. And a great start to their seasons, although it's actually Cassandra's first race, whereas the other two have already raced. So, yeah, all of them now well underway with their triathlon seasons in 2025.
Yeah, we've had a good start to the year, but it's fair to say we're entering into the meat of the season. We've got the T100 coming up in a couple of weeks in Singapore. Plenty to mark your calendars over the coming months.
Cassandra there just having her trophy taken away from her and being replaced with a pen. I think that's just a sign of where she's at, right? I'll take that from you. Now you need to go and sign some more autographs, please, and make some more fans happy.
Yeah, don't think you're going home just yet, Cassandra.
You're not done
gonna
yet.
Sign everything until everyone is happy.
Yeah.
So she makes her way over to the far corner, and actually to her giant face, which I imagine as an athlete or even as anyone never gets normal seeing your face magnified like that.
I mean, it's never happened to me, but I'm not sure if you would find it amazing or a bit disconcerting seeing a giant version of your face looking out at you from the crowd.
It is slightly bizarre. I'm sure we can organise it, Vicky, for next year.
I think that would be weird.
I think it might be.
It's just lovely for the people who have stayed to really sing the Marseillaise with Cassandre Beaugrand, as you saw her singing there on the podium, and then cheer her on and want to gain those moments to have a selfie and a few words and to maybe get an autograph. That she's rewarding them now by going over to spend some time with them and doing that.
She's done a lot of selfies, hasn't she? Today?
She has done a lot of selfies.
She's got
now,
very good at the.
She probably knows the right angles and all of that. Yeah.
All right, so as Cassandre Beaugrand continues to sign autographs, our attention is going to turn to the men's ceremony.
Presenting flowers is Chris PTO Executive Chairman. In third place, and the winner of the bronze medal, representing the Netherlands, Mitch Kolkman.
So Mitch Kolkman then taking third place. He's sort of become a bit of a specialist here in Lievin, I think you'd say. He had brilliant results over the last couple of years, and good to see him on the podium in 2025.
Yeah, you could see how delighted he was in his interview. He sort of said, I knew this was the tactic we had to play, but I didn't think it was actually going to pay off. And I love that. He went all in anyway, knowing it only had a small chance of actually coming off and them holding off the likes of Hayden. But it worked, and he's been so rewarded for that effort. And yeah, I'm sure he is absolutely delighted to take home that medal today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a great format for that. You know, if you go all out, you're never gonna wonder, are you? If you're on the train home wondering, what if I'd given a bit more? This is a format that absolutely lends itself to going all out.
Yeah, to being brave and being bold. And again, Cassandre said that in her interview. She said, I'm going to go all in, and what's the worst that can happen? I blow up. And obviously that didn't happen to her, but it really is. That's the only bad thing that could possibly happen. And so, yeah, it's worth having a good go.
Antoine Duval in second. Great to see a French athlete on the men's podium.
Yeah, that gives the home crowd even more things to cheer about and to celebrate at this moment. You know, of course they expected success in the female side, but in the male side it was a bit more uncertain where or if it may come, where it may come from, I should say. But Antoine Duval has delivered today. As I said, he didn't look good in his heat this morning. He looked a bit tight on the run, quite a short, choppy stride. And I remember thinking when he set out onto the run in the final, it looked like a different athlete. He really looked like he found his form, and I guess that's the incentive of having had a brilliant swim bike so far and thinking, I'm in with a shout here.
Yeah, superb result from him, 148th in the world. But our winner this evening in the men's final, Henry Graf of Germany. A superb performance from the German. And I'm sure plenty of exciting things to come from him over the coming years.
Henry Graf today has been superb, and again I think he was shocked. He didn't expect to walk away the victor today, and such is the reputation and gravitas of an athlete like Hayden Wilde. Everyone knows how difficult it is to compete against him over pretty much any distance. But Henry Graf again was incredibly brave today and has been rewarded.
Certainly has. So, the anthem of Germany. All right, well, Vicky Holland, it's been an absolute pleasure to be with you here in Lievin. Final words to you. What are you going to take away from this event?
Oh gosh, I'm going to take away the party atmosphere. I'm going to talk about how amazing an event they put on here. And I'm going to take away that Cassandre Beaugrand is absolutely at the top of her game.
She certainly is. All right, from all of us here in Lievin, thank you so much for your company this evening. Goodbye for now.
I'm a savage. Drop the classic. Thinking back. Too established. It's automatic. Got a mask. Who was that? Living legend.